Hey everybody, this is Bruce for you with week 3 of the BBL. My opponent this time around is Amol, and the two Ubers they've picked were Marshadow and Terra Reggie Eleki. And this one is Terra Ice, and as you've seen from our last encounter with the Terra Ice Reggie Eleki, that thing is scary. So, but this time around I have a bunch of Ubers. And I still have a Dragon Steel type. It's not especially defensive as Gudra, but it'll do the job. So he has quite a lot of good answers to Rain. There's the speed of Regieleki to even outspeed my Swift Swimmers, except for Overquill. Then there is Marshadow, which has strong priority, or it could just run a Scarf to outspeed all of my Swift Swimmers, except for, once again, Overquill. And then he has 3 water resists. Dondozo is super good at stomping out all of my Swift Swim sweepers. Altaria could use them as setup fodder. And Superior can force out 2 of them with super effective staff. But I do see some mons that I can take advantage of. There's Grimmsnarl, which typically carries screens and parting shot. And then there's Orthworm, where it can pass a Shed Tail, but it needs to be at 50% health to do so. And lastly, there's Slowking. I don't think it'll be that much of a problem. It has great special defense though, so it could be a problem for Mr. Mime, Kilo, and Dialga, and Pelipper. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm fairly confident with what I built. So first we have Dialga Origin. The special defense EVs allow me to survive 3 Specs Terrablast Ice Beams from Regieleki. And then the speed allows me to outspeed Orthworm if it tries to run max speed and be cheeky. And then the rest is just my modest nature to power up special attack as much as possible. We have Flamethrower for Orthworm and Superior. I know there's gonna be rain, but as you'll see, I don't have Damp Rock, so it's not gonna be up too often. And then we have Flash Cannon for Grimmsnarl, and a reliable way to hit Marshadow. And then Thunder if I do have the rain to smash through Dondozo. Trick Room is an interesting option. Like I said, since rain won't be up all the time, I have a feeling my opponent will bring lots of speed because he has the ability to outspeed my Swift Swimmers. So this is my second form of speed control, Trick Room. That way, Dialga can actually 1v1 Regieleki better, even get off a last hit versus Marshadow. Now we have Pelipper. No Damp Rock because I feel like rain won't be too helpful with everyone being possible to outspeed. But I do have Mystic Water, which in combination with Surf, it is able to break down Orthworm all the way to Citrus Berry range. So it shouldn't be able to get up a Shed Tail unless it's super especially defensive. But yeah, Surf with Mystic Water in the rain, it stops any Shed Tail attempts unless it's Citrus Berry. Everything else is just standard Pelipper stuff. U-turn to get me out into the people to abuse my speed control options. Now we have Swampert. We have another offensive raising nature with no EVs into it because I like to just max out the returns from a nature. But the special defense allows me to live 2 Vex Terrablast Ice from Regieleki. And then the speed allows me to outspeed Marshadow under rain. We have Ice Punch for Altaria and Superior, and then Dual Stab. As well as Stealth Rock to take advantage of all the switches that my Swampert and Dialga can force. Then we have Overquill. This is my Marshadow check, if you can call it that. With Intimidate and Max Defense, I am able to switch into Banded Close Combat once, then take another one, and then hopefully put it in range of anything else with a crunch. But other than that, T-Spikes helps me wear down everything because his only absorber is King Galar, which I don't think he'll bring, and his only defogger is Altaria, which shouldn't be too bad. I also I know they have Rapid Spin through Regieleki. That thing will be pressured to dish out as much damage as possible. So Taunt is to stop Grimmsnarl. Since Prankster can't affect Dark types, he can't Parting Shot away or T-Wave me, but he can still get up screen, so that's what Taunt is for. Taunt also stops Orthworm from Shed Tailing, provided I outspeed, and it stops Marshadow from bulking up. Lastly, Barb Barrage, since I can't really touch Marshadow if it bulks up, I can at least poison it. That's what Barb Barrage is for. It also hurts Grimmsnarl a lot and poisons it. As well as more chip damage on Altaria, Superior, and Dondozo, which are all of his answers for Swampert. Now we have a third speed control option. We have Tailwind Kilowattrel. Now, I know Volt Absorb would be really good since there's a Regieleki, but between Swampert and Dialga, I feel like Regieleki is under control. That's why I have Competitive. This will take advantage of Parting Shot, and if I switch into the Parting Shot, I get +3 special attack. And then I'll start hitting like a nuke. Dual Stabs take advantage of the rain. Volt Switch because they don't have a ground type, if I remember correctly. Yeah, no ground type, so I can Volt Switch away freely. And then Tailwind is my third speed control option. Basically another Swift Swim boost if I need it. And since I outspeed everything under Tailwind, I didn't need any speed EVs and I just went to go as bulky as possible. Maybe I can survive a Spirit Break from Grimmsnarl and get a boost off of that. Also helps me switch into Superior. And lastly, we have our Spinner, just in case Orthworm goes for a more hazard-centric role. Freeze Dry also takes care of all the Swampert counters, and Encore makes sure Dondozo doesn't try anything funny, as well as Grimmsnarl. Psychic is there for Marshadow. And I went for Terra Steel because, well, I can only be Terra Steel, but it can be an option if I'm trying to dodge a ghost move from Marshadow, but they can just go for a fighting move and not worry about it at all. Screen Cleaner is really good here because it stops Grimmsnarl from setting up screens. and then my Swampert and Dialga and Kilowattrel can just proceed to break through everything. So yeah, let's get into the battle. What we have here is lots of Swampert answers, all three of them, and no Grimmsnarl, so the competitive Kilowattrel is already kind of a burden to me. But they don't have any way to one-hit KO Swampert except for Superior. It could be Scarf Superior, so it can outspeed my Swift Swimmers if I run a greedy attack raising nature. But if they do lead Superior, I have 3 switch-ins to it. Kilowattrel can even take a Glare if need be. So over here, they start with Slowking, and this is an obvious switch. They don't want to take my Earthquake, so I get a free Stealth Rock over here. And now I switch into my Dialga. The reason why Dialga over my other 2 grass switch-ins is because I need Overqwil healthy for Marshadow, and Kilowattrel could risk missing Hurricanes, and then it could start setting up substitutes and stuff. So Dialga is the safest option. But it has Knockoff, which I did not know it got, and that's really bad. My Leftovers is gone. And this Slowking is gonna be a problem, but I do get a good burn on it. So that'll be very helpful with all the chip from Stealth Rock and Burn, stopping its Regenerator from healing. And then we have Chilly Reception. I forgot that Slowking Galar also got Chilly Reception. I thought it was just regular Slowking. Mind you, this is December when this match happened, so I still didn't know everything about Gen 9. So this Chilly Reception caught me off guard, but shouldn't be too bad. I thought it lost a pivot option, but it still has it. But this whole snow summoning isn't that bad, because you can't summon snow up on my Swampert, and my rain isn't even Damp Rock boosted. I'm not too reliant on the rain. Now it comes Marshadow. I send out my main Marshadow answer, but it has a new item called Clear Amulet. This Amo guy is hitting me up with the big brains. And now close combat pretty much hits as hard as Banded without needing to be banded. So now out comes Dondozo to tank whatever I have for it. At this point, I figured I should start getting up T-Spikes. This will force out Slowking, which I can scare away with Swampert. Or I can keep it out with Swampert. He does switch into Slowking right away, so he gets a free Regenerator, though not much. Now, I saw that switch was obvious because he has Superior, and it reveals to be a defensive Superior. I thought it would be Scarf, but this defensive one is a really good pull. With Synthesis out of Rain and Snow is very questionable, but it worked out for him. Now over here, I noticed Splash Cannon plus Stealth Rock and Burn outdamages Regenerator. So perhaps I could start this whole sequence again, switching into Overqwil, getting up T-Spikes, switching into Swampert, forcing out Slowking to take the T-Spikes, then switching into Dialga to take the Leaf Storm and force out the Slowking, rinse and repeat, because Flash Cannon plus Rocks and Burn is outdamaging Regenerator. So he gives me the opportunity to repeat this sequence. But at this point, I remembered it's clear amulet, so intimidate is not gonna help here. Close combat will just 2-hit KO me now. So I have no choice but to go into my fighting type switch in over here. I'm trying to read a Thunder Punch or a Rock Tomb, and he does have it. Now I have a safe switch in. I can force out Dondozo and repeat the same sequence all over again. Over there, I crunched instead of getting the T-spikes right away, so I could accumulate Black Sludge. And I didn't want a T-spike right away because then I would switch into Swampert on the Yawn, and that wouldn't be good. Instead of yawning, he goes for the rain-boosted Liquidation, which does a good amount, and now I can't take a close combat. Now Swampert comes out, and I think Amo is catching on to my plan. He knows what I'm trying to repeat what happened in the last 10 turns. So I try to just expedite the process and force out the Slowking. But he's intent on staying in with Curse. So I go for the Thunder, and Body Press does a lot. That's fine. And I'm lucky enough to land 2 Thunders outside of range. Now Dialga is weakened, but I can still take 1 Specs Terrablast Ice from Regieleki, and Swampert is healthy enough to take 1 as well. Over here, I decide to go Trick Room because without the burn, Flash Cannon would barely make any progress with just Stealth Rock support. So I know they're gonna switch into Marshadow. So over here I decided to get some initiative with Trick Room. But that wasn't the case. I can still get a nice Flamethrower off. But instead of Flamethrower, I was predicting the Slowking. So I went for Flash Cannon. And it hit the Altaria. It didn't Mega up yet, so that wasn't very powerful. And now Amo's intent on just stalling out the Trick Room. So over here, I decide to start attacking with Overquill. Yep. But I couldn't get to do anything. The Altaria seems to be very defensive because I'm only 209 speed and uninvested is 196, so it is uninvested Altaria. So over here I try to read a Freeze Dry switch in, but he stayed in. Got off a nice Flamethrower on me. At that point, he still sticks to Flamethrower, and there, since I realized it was minimum speed Altaria, I just went for the Flash Cannon and outsped it. And now since Dialga's too unhealthy to take anything, I let it go down. And this is my only chance to get big damage on Marshadow, so I go for that. And I get a lucky freeze. This could be the break I needed. But unfortunately, Amo thaws out. That's a problem. I have Rain, but it's not gonna mean much with bulky Superior in the way. So I go into Kilowattrel, hoping I'm bulky enough to take a Spectral Thief into Shadow Sneak. But as it turns out, I'm not even bulky enough to take 2 Shadow Sneaks. Hello, Wattrel is so dang frail. Even with max HP, I thought I could live. So now with Tailwind, I just Terra Steel up to survive the Shadow Sneak. But this is looking really bad. I have no way to beat down Superior in time, as well as Regieleki. And Amel just goes for the slow burn with Chilly Reception Slow King. And from there, that's GG. I lived somehow. And I get the... Okay, well, I didn't go down without a fight. I got the crit Psychic. But between Slow King and Superior, mostly Superior, I had no more outs. I could Rapid Spin to get the speed boost, but nope. And to add insult to injury, I got the the Scald Burn. And that's that. There is one thing that surprised me though. My Mr. Mime, he outsped the Superior. I wasn't even that fast. So this was super physically defensive Superior. So I have to keep that in mind if we fight next time. But that was a tough loss. I felt like it was winnable. The end game, Amel could have been choking, but that could have been from my Psychic crit. I could have played that a little better. But yeah, that's only one loss so far out of the 4 weeks. I'm pretty much set to go into the into the playoff brackets if I can get a high differential in the next match. So yeah, hope to see you next week.